Ghana Talks Radio. Ghana Talks Radio. This is big.
Yes, cool.
More music.
Ghana Talks Radio. Ghana Talks Radio. This is big. This is big. GhanaTalksRadio.com. Listen live. Listen live. Listen live.
I love.
We love your station.
It's great.
Listen here. Listen here. Ghana Talks Radio. Ghana Talks Radio. Ghana Talks Radio. GTR News. GTR News. We bring you local news, business news, international, sports, and entertainment news. Right here on GTR. GTR.
Good afternoon. It's time for the afternoon news right on Ghana Talks Radio. Today I'm super excited. I don't know why, but I'm super excited. So it's time for the afternoon news right on Ghana Talks Show. As usual, I go by the name Regina Bless. So moving to our headlines. Former toll booth workers takes on government over delay in employing them. Arise Ghana Group appeals judgment restricting time for Krom AyƐ Hye demo. This and more stories coming up. Stay tuned.
GTR News.
Moving to the main stories, the Ghana Toll Workers Union has questioned government's failure to develop other employment models for their members before the cessation of the collection of tolls. The union contends that government's failure to re-engage the workers immediately after the collection of tolls was halted has had an adverse impact on their livelihood. This comes on the back of a statement by the Deputy Employment Minister, Bright Kubrobe, that government is currently engaging with toll and route management limited to develop other employment models for the re-engagement of toll workers. Secretary for the union, Edward Duncan, called on government to find an amicable solution to the plight of the unemployed toll workers. If the minister tells us that they are developing models, couldn't they have developed the models before closing down the toll booths so that as soon as they shut them down, they can absorb the toll collectors? The government owes us by their promise, so the government should do the right thing and settle this matter once and for all. Lawyers for pressure group Arise Ghana Demo have served notice of an appeal on the High Court's judgment, which partially granted orders against them. The Krom AyƐ Hye demonstration is, however, expected to come off today, which is Tuesday, June 28, 2022. The Court of Appeal is expected to be moved on July 12, 2022 by Arise Ghana lawyers who say they disagree with the entire judgment of the High Court on the matter. The High Court, in striking a balance between the competing demand of the police service and Arise Ghana, ordered the organizers to end the Krom AyƐ Hye demonstration at exactly 4 p.m. today. So we're going to listen to what the leader had to say.
The demonstration is supposed to happen up to 8 p.m. Now, the police are saying that there are terrorist acts in the South region. We have shown, by way of our affidavit in opposition, that of all the terrorist acts in the West African South region and Africa, none happened in the night. And so, if you are not opposed to a demonstration happening in the afternoon, how do you use terrorist acts in the afternoon in Togo to oppose demonstration in the night? But like in the superior wisdom of the court feels that, well, for the continuous peace of the country, the demonstrators can make their point by ending the demonstration at 4 p.m., contrary to the claim by the police that it should end at 3 p.m.
It's also directed that the demonstration commenced at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, marching through Furesco and TUC junctions to the Independence Square. A petition may then be presented to a representative of the presidency at the square, the court also added. So to our next story. In Nkoranza South, Donkor's family dispute autopsy reports. The family of Victor Kejetia has rejected a police autopsy report indicating the cause of death of their son. The report says the cause of death is a severe head injury and there is also an underlying brain tumor. Victor Kejetia has allegedly shot and killed on 18th May 2022 by the police during a protest by the youth of Nkoranza in the Bono East region. The family says the police autopsy report is fraught with inaccuracies and so there is the need for an independent coroner's inquest. They say Donkor died under mysterious circumstances in police custody. The police had earlier claimed that Mr. Donkor was a robbery suspect, but the locals believe the young businessman was targeted and killed by the police because he witnessed a robbery incident involving a police officer on the Nkoranza Kintampon Road. Isaac Appiah, the brother of the deceased, said, "We don't believe in that. I believe we will go for a second opinion." Moving to our next story. Power to be restored to Kejetia market after management settles. Power is expected to be restored at the Kumasi City Market, also known as the new Kejetia Market, by the close of Monday, June 27, 2022, which was yesterday, following almost 1 week of blackout in the facility after officials from the Electricity Company of Ghana (ECG) disconnected power to the facility. This situation was because the traders refused to pay their electricity bills for close to 14 months after the management of the facility failed to provide each shop with a meter. According to the leadership of the traders, the amount they owe amounts to 5.2 Ghana cedis. Speaking to City News, the leadership of the traders disclosed that following several engagements with the management of the facility and the Electricity Company of Ghana, the traders have made the commitment to pay the outstanding bills. Some of the market women had something to say. Let's go listen.
For close to a week, trading activities at the new Kejetia market, which has over 7,000 shops, slammed since the Electricity Company of Ghana (ECG) disconnected power to the facility. Many traders lament that the development has adversely affected them. Some coastal operators in the market, for instance, say they have been compelled to lock up their shops as they have cleared their fridges for fear of incurring losses. Traders whose activities revolve around the use of electricity say they have been badly affected.
It's affecting us really bad because you can see I sell water and drinks. So normally I use electricity that much. So for a whole week that I'm not getting electricity, the sales has really gone down. Very down. Because I use the light, I had to bring block from home today. So for a week now I've been buying block from coastals so that I can use it to operate.
My fridge is too. Ice in Indian cut off ice block in Indian. A kakaka cocoa bishop, Nipa crosso ton mat, etika, a bema, a kaba. As a shop in the boarding pa. Now be baby to your shop getting to 500 million. Now be tria na uni kania uswakoji loan udi here juma. How are you going to pay your loan? They say a fridge is here juma. Then trinam for sa wo catch enye fish foi obi di fish ko fie no dia kogu ice chest no dia ba beton enye.
The situation resulted from the traders' refusal to pay their electricity bill for close to 14 months. The debt that accrued from that decision amounted to over 5 million Ghana cedis. Speaking to City News, the leadership of the trader group has disclosed that following several engagements with the management of the facility and ECG, the traders have committed to pay the outstanding bills, which resulted in the disconnection of power. According to the president of the Federation of Kumasi Traders, Nana Akwesi Prempe, 20% of the amount owed to ECG has been paid as part of processes to ensure the restoration of power by the close of Monday, 27th June.
This morning, I was part of the delegation, went to meet officials of ECG. We agreed that the 20% be paid. We've given them the 20% check. There is a payment plan by which we are to pay. So on the part of the traders, we will start sharing the bills to the individual traders tomorrow, because there have been some commitment from the ECG, and the assurance from ECG was that if we are able to pay the old debt in time, there will be no need for us to be looking for a private supplier to come and supply us with the meter. ECG as a company will lead for the procurement and supply and installation of meters within the Kejetia for us. And to us, it is a good news. It is good news to us that ECG has accepted the challenge, that they are going to take the initiative to supply us the meters. So what I can say is that they gave us the assurance that before the close of work today, power will be restored back to Kejetia market.
The managing director of the new Kejetia market, Kofi Dufo, confirmed that plans are in place to restore
GTR News.
He also revealed that there are plans to ensure that each shop will get a meter as soon as the current arrears are cleared.
It is what has led to this, but it shouldn't have come to this point. Yeah, so the board has looked at the document. ECG has prepared the document for us. Yes, they worked on it with us. It's complete. Last 2 weeks. Last week we submitted it to the board, and so we know this week the board is working on it. And so the board is working with ECG again on it. We are engaging ECG at the highest level so that we'll be able to completely solve this problem of separate meters. And between now and the end of August, this issue of separate meters and its arrangement and things would have been dealt with.
Now, cold store operators are some of the most affected businesses here, as when we took a stroll into the market, we realized that a number of shops have been locked up due to the current situation. They are hoping that.
So that was what some of the Kejetia market people had to say. They are saying they want one shop, 1 meter. Yes, so one shop, 1 meter. So we're going on a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with the business and political news. Stay tuned.
Hello Ghana, hello worldwide. I'm level band. Now listen, every Tuesday and Friday, beyond the time it's going to carry bro. Our Ghana Talks Radio, 7 p.m. sharp. Now Tuesday, we're gonna talk about our culture, our history. Matuni ding setete abako sem. Now on the Friday, you bars on bars. You better rap, you better say no artists go join me in the studio. We're gonna discuss about music and business. Konya, or you singer, and now you rapper, you think say you get bars. You go be spit fire. Now listen, make you join me with studios. Our Ghana Talks Radio and you say then our day. Me say download the Ghana Talks Radio app no our Play Store and App Store. Na tune in and say this what you see baba live on Facebook, ko Instagram, any Ghana Talks Radio page and so now listen. E be your fire. 1 year, Konya, wading. Jajan.
Welcome to Ghana Talks Radio. Join Ahimachimu and DJ Cham on this week's segment. One of them some last week, the discussion on broad doors. Can a person fall in love with 2 persons at the same time? And it was interactive.
Possible. With a true love, truly love, and possible. Never.
Cham, ain't really possible. A better possible.
Join us this Thursday as we talk over between a man and a woman who should play a major role in maintaining lively relationship. Live on Ghana Talks Radio. Join us live on Facebook and listen via our website www.ghanatalksradio.com or our app. Or you can call our studio line 020-254-4614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
GTR News. GTR News.
Okay, welcome back from the break. If you just joined your life on Ghana Talks Radio, and this is the afternoon. So, moving to some business stories. Unilever Ghana PLC remains upbeat about future growth prospects. Unilever Ghana PLC remains upbeat about future growth prospects. Managing Director of Unilever Ghana PLC, George Owusu-Ansah, has stated that it is optimistic about his outfit growth prospects. This comes as the company recorded an increase in revenue of about 23% for the year 2021, despite the impact of the lingering COVID-19 on businesses. Taking its turn at the facts behind the figures forum, organized by the Ghana Stock Exchange for listed companies, Managing Director of Unilever Ghana PLC George Owusu-Ansah said the company's revenue increased 5,559 million in 2021, up from the 456 million Ghana cedis recorded in 2020. So moving to our next business story. Inflation in Africa, some subsidy programs prolonging situation, Gable. The head of FICC Research and Chief Economist at Appiah, Gable, says the consistent introduction of subsidies in the midst of global economic challenges will only prolong the effects of inflation in that country. So according to him, governments in Africa must rather focus on slowing down demand for product rather than subsidizing the cost. Since May 2021, when national inflation stood at 7.5%, the rate has increased consistently for 12 straight months, climbing all the way to 27.6% in May 2022. Let's go listen to more details of what he had to say.
About Russia and Ukraine, mostly as a lever, because I'm an economist, mostly as a lever here to talk about global inflation and interest rates. But let me not sound like somebody who doesn't get it. Russia's invasion of Ukraine is at its core a humanitarian crisis. It's a humanitarian crisis today for tens of millions of Ukrainians. It will become a humanitarian crisis for tens of millions more across the world in the months ahead. So please, apologies, I'm going to take a very narrow sort of inflation focus to this, but it is absolutely critical what's going on there. And so there's sort of four broad areas that we want to be thinking about Russia-Ukraine. The first of those is around growth, inflation, and supply chains, right? We know that the price of energy, in particular oil for those of us elsewhere in the world, for natural gas if you're in Europe, is significantly higher than it was before. And we face that if we're looking to fill up our cars. We'll face that at the supermarket shelves as it costs money to transport goods around. We think about agriculture and food prices in that space. We also think about very complex supply chains, right? So we can put up our hands and say that here in Ghana, only X percent of our cereals and grains come through from Russia or Ukraine, something like 8%. But if I'm a farmer, and the fact is that a bunch of my input costs are fertilizers, which are massively more expensive now in the world than they were before. Many of my input costs around petrol and energy, massively more expensive than it was before. The problems that exist in Russia and Ukraine are mine today, and as a farmer, it means that they're everyone in this room's problems tomorrow. We think about being caught in the crosshairs, and this is going to be very important going forward. So caught in the crosshairs in the first instances around sanctions, right? I work as part of a large Pan-African banking organization. As a large Pan-African banking organization, ABSA works with banks all around the world. And so we were sat in meetings each and every evening from the eve of Russia's invasion of Ukraine to understand how the financial sanctions will be impacting our clients, how to ensure that we protect ourselves and our clients from getting on the wrong side of those sanctions and trying to ensure that business can continue to go forward. But it's not just about that. It's about issues of cyber security, though less so far than we had feared. But maybe more critically, and in the periods ahead, countries in Africa, Africa as a whole, is likely going to be asked to take sides here. We know that as a continent, many of our historical sympathies, right, have been towards Russia. We know that as a continent, many of our economic realities today look towards China. But in the periods ahead, it's quite likely that difficult decisions are going to need to be made, and aligning on one side or the other here with really significant implications going forward. And each country is going to weigh that decision carefully. There's uncertainty and risk aversion. We heard already that more than 50 banks around the world, central banks, are already increasing interest rates. You will not have escaped notice here that CD rates are already 450 basis points higher this year from where we were at the tail end of last year. Our view as ABSA research, at least, is that there's another interest rate rise coming in July, I'm sorry to say. More broadly, the risk aversion is hitting sort of EM assets. So whether it be in Asia or Latin America, whether it be in West Africa or East Africa or Southern Africa, we're seeing currencies come under pressure. We're seeing governments find it more expensive to finance themselves. If governments find it more expensive to finance themselves, all of us find it more expensive to finance ourselves. And then there's a question here just around the long-term consequences. So I am just about young enough that I can remember in the 1980s, as we were moving towards the end of the Cold War, I can remember as a teenager being very fearful about nuclear war.
This is Ghana Talks
I remember
Radio,
distinctly
the best station
worried that
rocking
the
the
Russian
nation.
So that is what Chef Gable had to say. So moving to our political story. Inability of E-levy to hit revenue target, not surprising, vindicates NDC Sam George. The Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Sam George says the National Democratic Congress has been vindicated by its position that the electronic transfer levy is not the solution to Ghana's economic woes. It follows the revelation by a leading member of the New Patriotic Party, NPP Gabi Asare Otredako, that the tax measure since its implementation has generated only 10% of estimated revenue. The Ningo Pram MP said he is not at all surprised by the development. This needed no divine revelation. It was obvious to any critical and objective mind. The projections they were making were just untenable. Government said that in 7 months, that is from May to December, it was going to make 4.2 billion Ghana cedis of the E-levy, meaning it was going to make about 600 million every month, meaning it would make an average of 20 million every day. He said government's abysmal performance continues to prove how incompetent they are. Moving to international stories. Jordan toxic gas leaks kills 13, injures hundreds. A leak of toxic chlorine gas at Jordan's Red Sea port of Appiah has killed 13 people and injured more than 260 others, state media report. Authorities said a chemical storage container fell while being transported as a result of a crane malfunction. CCTV footage showed the container being hoisted into the air and then suddenly dropping on a ship and exploding. A large cloud of bright yellow gas is seen spreading across the ground, sending people running for safety. State media said on Monday night that 123 of the injured were still being treated at local hospitals for chemical exposure. Some were reportedly in a critical condition. Residents of Appiah City, which is 16 kilometers north of the port, were advised to stay inside and close windows following the leak, which happened at 12:15 GMT on Monday. So moving to our next international story, at least 46 found dead in abandoned Texas lorry. At least 46 people have been found dead in an abandoned lorry on the outskirts of San Antonio, Texas. A fire official said 16 people, including 4 children had also been taken to hospital. The survivors were hot to the touch and suffering from heat stroke and heat exhaustion. San Antonio, which is 250 kilometers from the US-Mexican border, is a major transit route for people smugglers. Human traffickers often use lorries to transport undocumented migrants. After meeting them in remote areas once, they have managed to cross to the United States. Moving to our last entertainment story for the day. Nana Aba Anamoah's Punchy post after Jackie Appiah's mansion Brouhaha. Broadcaster and general manager of GH1 TV Nana Aba Anamoah has, in an Instagram post, entreated people to be concerned about how to turn things around instead of incessantly ravishing the wealth of others. Focus on making your life better too. Most importantly, be truly happy for people, the caption of her post cited by Ghanaians. According to the journalist, she has observed that people resort to name-calling and malicious posts whenever others climb the ladder of success, an attitude she considers inappropriate. When you make it as a man in this country, they attribute it to Sakawa and drugs. You make it as a woman, they say you are an ashawo. People who did this are permanently stuck in snake pit. Wake up from the folly and attempt to make your life better too. Her post read. Nana Aba Anamoah's post is in the back of comments added after the unveiling of Jackie Appiah's mansion. Yes, so focus on your life and stop bad-mouthing people. This is where we end the afternoon news right on Ghana Talks Radio. I go by the name Regina Bless. Stay tuned for the lunchtime reading.
This is Ghana Talks Radio.